This episode of Super GG Radio is brought to you by our Patreon. Patrons of the show can get our Dogs of Super GG Radio newsletter, Super GG Radio stickers to slap on your closest PC or bag, input on what we cover, game nights with the hosts, and even a chance to win a copy of an indie we talked about. Not only that, but 90% of all patron contributions go to the Children's Miracle Network of Hospitals. Visit patreon.com/superggradio to learn more.
What's good, Internet, and welcome to a special Extra Life session of Super GG Radio, where friends chat about video games and all things adjacent. I am your Sherpa through the spooky time hours, Eric Getty Gettinger. With me is this other guy who's pretty good at picking what we call snake games, and snake games are anything that involves you being able to fire a snake. That's Alex Arona.
I don't even do it, I don't do it intentionally half the time, and then all of a sudden it's like, wait, you just fired a snake at me. That's not okay.
There was a game, I think it was Spider-Heck, when we were playing it last year, and we're like, oh, there's no snakes, and at one point you do have the ability to shoot a snake, and it's like they knew that that's what they needed in order for it to become a snake game.
I mean, Towerfall, right? Towerfall Ascension this year, where it's like, wait, what?
You didn't pick it knowing, and still... Also with us is a man who has no fear and is willing to play Super Ghouls and Ghosts and Aladdin excessively on stream, Joel DeWitte.
I picked back up Super Ghouls and Ghosts the other day, and I got to the first... You know that point in the first level where the tide comes in and rolls over everything? I got to there and died and went, no, screw this, I'm done.
And you were just killing it during the live stream. You're just... I don't think anybody came close. You just kept going, though. You're like, this is what I do in my free time.
Well, there was like an intermission period where I think everybody was like getting food or getting up for a minute, and I was just like, well, I guess I'm doing this now.
Yep.
I think it was more that you put it on the list, and we're like, I guess we could play this, and we all took turns and went, no, this sucks.
Hey, this is stupid. And then Joel was like,
you took over again, and you're like, I could do this, and then you just like lackadaisically just like went through 3 levels, and we're like, oh man, that's ridiculous.
I'll do better next time. It's okay.
We could really make it interesting, and we could all take turns trying to slap the controller out of your hand or unplug your controller mid playthrough and
strategically walk in front of the screen.
So you're talking about different ways of torture to describe.
That's what that game is for the rest of us, Joel.
I think it's just loving hazing, because those things are definitely related to each other.
Scandal noted. You can't say that word anymore.
Playful torture, then. Yeah. All right. And last but definitely not least, our resident wizard of legend, Alec Parks.
I put on my robe and wizard hat.
I had so much fun with that game. I was not expecting to, but for a rogue, I think everybody really proved that they could hang and bang, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yes.
That was
we all
solid.
had a great time with that.
I'm very impressed with that. Very impressed.
All right, guys, so this is our Extra Life recap. We aren't going to have a super solid format for it, but we're going to go over some of our favorite moments. We're going to talk about the games that we got to play and experience, and just, give you, if you don't have time to go back and watch the whole 24 hours, just think of this as a highlight reel. We want to make sure that you're as entertained as we were, and we're going to talk about some of those indies that we got to try out at the same time. So,
also to note that this is the highlight reel audio form before the video highlight reel, which I'm about halfway done doing.
Yes, if you didn't know, Alex likes to spend like 2 weeks going through everything and just clipping. I think he had a little bit of help this year, but clipping all of the things that he thought were really cool and neat to show off, and you're going to get to experience that. So, keep an eye out. Until then, listen to us speak in this audio format podcast.
With our sultry voices.
maybe you. I'm still overcoming this terrible head cold, and we'll see how far I make it into the episode. If I go down, I leave most of my possessions to Alex's dog, Penny, except for my copy of Avengers on PlayStation 4. Alex can have that.
Is that physical?
It's
Oh,
physical.
man.
Nobody
That means
wants
they can't
it.
take it away from me.
Nobody wants it.
They can never take it from me. Pry it from my cold, dead hands.
You can have my Destiny 2 disc as well.
Oh, nobody
Also,
wants that.
exactly. Nobody
Oh man,
wants it.
do you think if you put that in a PlayStation 4 right now, it would let you play the original campaign?
No.
No,
It won't.
What if you just didn't have it plugged into the internet and you pop the disc in?
I think it stops you.
It won't. Yeah, you won't.
I think it stops you.
You're not doing anything with it.
Bummer.
Yeah, the archivists, that's the problem with some of these, that the archivists are like, we can't do anything.
You have to have an internet connection for it. So, all right, my dudes. Well, let's briefly go through our early adopters. So it wasn't the first segment that we had in our Extra Life stream, but it sure was a pretty freaking exciting one. Early adopters, where we play alphas, betas, and games that have me running while looking over my shoulder in fear. Alex, tell me what motivated you to play or pick Decimate Drive.
Well, I saw it and I said, man, that looks real messed up. And I played it with you guys. And by the end, I was shaking. Like, my hands were shaking because it was just...
So,
ooh, I don't...
Alex,
it made...
What is Decimate Drive? What...
Well, hold on. First, I want to say that I've had lots of jobs. And I remember a couple of specific moments where I've been outside at, say, midnight to 2 a.m. in the snow, and it was just dead silent. And that is a creepy prospect. Now, Decimate Drive is a game where you are first person. You like black out and you wake up in a neighborhood and you see a payphone ringing, and you decide to walk to it. And when you get to the payphone, you answer it. It hangs up, and then another payphone rings in the distance. Because of that, you have to keep following the payphones, and all of a sudden, people will just start trying to hit you with their cars. And it starts out with an ice cream truck.
Yeah, the first one. You hear something in the distance, and it is an ice cream truck.
And it is just... what song is it playing? Joel, you and Kelly knew. I didn't know what the song.
Oh, what was it?
Something Daisy, give me your answer.
Oh,
truth.
yes.
I don't know that song, though, what it's called.
But
that was... the ice cream truck's playing this happy music, and it's trying to mow you down.
The fact that Alex...
in later levels, more cars get added.
But Alex didn't tell anybody what it was. So to go up to the first payphone and it's like, oh, okay. And your character, it has like that motion of running. So you get like a slight bob out of it. But then you quickly walk up to the next payphone. And that's when, I don't remember who had control of the... We didn't have controller on this one. This is keyboard and mouse, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, and the first person was...
Is it Alec?
Yeah, I think it was Alec.
But can you tell us the surprise that you felt just at the payphone and then all of a sudden, ice cream truck, full on dead at you?
Full on, yeah. If you don't you see it kind of coming, but you're not certain what to expect, and then all of a sudden, there it is. It's not stopping. It's not slowing down. It's what's out to get you. It's just surprising.
It's got a real shock factor to it, and I especially kind of love that there are times where if you're just not looking, it'll just say game over. It's like, what happened? And it's very hard. It's a very like stark boom at game over screen. Like you don't even get like, oh, that you got hit by a car or something. It's like, nope, you don't even get to know what happened to you. So and you could survive like one hit, kind like if you get, if it just like grazes you, but if it's a full on, you're done. And it is a horrifying prospect, especially considering that you're just out in like late night in the snow. It is extra silent, and all of a sudden, car comes at you in an alley, and you have to dive into a corner And even now, just thinking about that being a real world thing happen. Oof.
Do you feel like this game could benefit from having like a game over cam like you get in other games right now? Like, I don't want to say Call of Duty where you see the person that shot you, but like a zoom out so that you can replay and relive what happened. Because I feel like there were a couple of times when, Alex, you expertly dodged two cars that were about to sandwich you. So yeah. I would like to see that happen, as terrible as it sounds. But in order to be like, oh man, that's where I went wrong. Or, we played this couch co-op so everybody could see what was going on. And it would just be kind of fun to get that perspective after a death, in my opinion.
Like a good replay of your run?
Yeah. Maybe not full speed, but something akin to, maybe
wash?
sped up a bit. Yeah.
Yeah, power wash.
Yeah.
I agree. I think that'd be very cool. And I definitely thought, the horror factor's there just because it's just like so unnerving. It's a pretty simple premise, but I think that I definitely want to get some footage on it and do something with this demo, just because it really kind of hit me hard in a way that I was just deathly uncomfortable with, and I was like, well, this seems to be a real ridiculous game, and I'm glad everyone liked it.
I mean, is maybe deathly afraid of it, but still, it was fun. Okay.
There are games like that, though. I have a couple. There was the Devil Daggers.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like shooting, but also it's just like weirdly demonic. Yeah, I got games like that.
I call that game Satan Fingers.
You do. I remember that.
Yeah.
They made a sequel. We should play the sequel.
No, I don't want to play the sequel. I remember when you were like, this game is hard mode, and then you put me in front of it for like 15 minutes, and I was like, okay, I guess I could do this.
Yeah.
But that's not the only first-person game that we got to experience. We also got to play some Explorator. How may I qualify you, Explorator? Joel, I remember you had a mixed experience with this. Because once you cleared the first level, for some reason, there was an issue with the beta where all of your money just disappeared. And you weren't able to, buy anything or re-up your supplies as you got into the second level. But talk to us about Explorator.
I could not exchange my money for goods or services after that. The Explorator is a first-person shooter. It is very zippy. Like, you're talking about PC keyboard and mouse gaming movement speed fast. It is sort of a cel-shaded thing, right? I mean, that's kind of the aesthetic it is, but it really pops in a really great way. The characters are all kind of wacky. You're sort of, the intro is almost like shooting your way through a Star Wars battle or something like that, with laser guns and things. It's very cool and dynamic for that.
I thought it was funny because it just puts you right into the fire. 'Cause I remember you were like, okay, and you shoot a guy, and you're like, that was pretty cool. And then you walk into a room and there's like dozens of guys. Yep. You're like, oh no. Right.
It's definitely one of those. It's going to feel more like a war zone, and that waves are just being sent at you. And that's a good taste for what the game is right there. It's very fast shooting, very fast aim, so you have to... I probably would have tried to tamp down the sensitivity just a little bit for me. But it's all crisp. The gunplay, it doesn't have like a big heft to it. So I didn't notice really any noticeable recoil depending on what weapons I used, where it felt like there was weight. But it was also the kind of shooter where I don't know that it matters that much. And when you get to the main island after that intro, besides being pilfered for money,
you got robbed, man.
I was upset.
We all were upset for you.
As you should be.
But it plops you into sort of this more open space where it's kind of like they give you an objective, but it's open and you can sort of choose different areas, whether it's going up some stairs on one side or climbing a path on the other route. There's a few buildings you could go through. It was almost kind of Aztecian temple. That'd be a fair way to describe it. But in between the actual goal and that, I ran across bees that tried to harm me. There were actually other full-fledged enemies to fight off, and that's where I was able to eventually get more ammo, since I didn't have money to buy any. And I don't really think I got much farther than that. But I was very happy with how it played. It ended up on my wish list, and these games aren't my natural home for gaming, so definitely interested in it.
Yeah, I think the art style is what really stood out to me with this one, just because it looks so much like almost like a Ren and Stimpy cartoon almost, or what was it called, Getty, that we talked about, the roguelike game in space?
Yeah, Void Bastards. So
Void Bastards.
The comparison that I was going to make is that the enemies, the way that they move, they stand out a bit, and it's in that same vein as what Void Bastards did. But I feel like this has the makings of an Indiana Jones adventure, and it can really go somewhere. So I don't know about you guys, but Explorador, I got to play it a bit, and I was pretty excited about the crazy stuff that they were throwing at you. And bees, yeah.
Bees are always funny.
Bees are terrifying. I know that I didn't plop it right here in the faux doc that we have for this week, but there is another game that got stuck in early access. Not even early access. There was a demo that was released, and it never made it out. So the ultimate early adopter is something that Alec got to experience.
Oh man!
So we're gonna take an opportunity to talk about PT. But first, I want the rest of the audience to live through the same experience that we did. Alex, tell us I'm stealing your line. Paint us a word picture of what you went through in order to obtain a copy of PT.
Friend of the show, and one of my personal friends now, Antle Bokor, his wife Marielle Bokor, really great people, and they're also video game. They do video game restoring. So scratch discs, problem Game Boys. They do it all. They take it apart. They rebuild it, and they also do collections to a certain extent. They do have little collections of different pieces, game memorabilia and different consoles and stuff like that. And I had mentioned PT with them, and they had said, "Oh yeah, we have a PlayStation 4 with PT," and I was like, "Well, I know that is particularly scary, and I think that would be fun. That would be a fun event for the rest of us." So I made a little trek to their home. I do writing for them and our website, culturecombine.com. But the making it out to their home, their house is a little bit like a museum where I got to look at a bunch of different. I'm like, oh man, that's a limited edition PSP, and that's they got all the retro pockets, the new what's it called? It's the
Analog.
Yeah, I sent Joel a video of one of their analog pockets, and I was like, oh man, this thing is so cool. Yeah, just different stuff like that. And he presented me a briefcase with a working PS4 with PT. So we definitely got to use that for our Extra Life event, and I'm very grateful for them. I've told them already a couple times that thank you very much for it. So I still have to return it, but I'm gonna make it out to their house because they're roughly 40 minutes north of me, so it's not that quick.
So Extra Life is not only a great opportunity to donate and support the Children's Miracle Network, which helps to do really great things, but it's also an opportunity for us as friends to torture each other, and that's what we did this year with the copy of PT. Alec never got the opportunity to play it when it was briefly out, so let me hand the reins over to him, and he will, explain a little bit about what the game is and just how visceral of a reaction he had.
How upset were you?
Oh, man. So the game starts off pretty plain. You're in a room. You have to walk out of it. And then you're going down a hallway. And starts hearing baby cries. And nope. That is... the horror demon babies are right out of my comfort zone.
What was the state of the house?
It was pretty much in disarray.
Does it start out that way?
I'm trying to remember. It starts off kind of a little messy, but not super bad. It gets worse every time you go through it, because
Wait, why do you have to go through it multiple times?
Yeah. So
Why?
after because of torture.
Yeah.
After you trigger something, the door in the other end of this hallway opens up and you can go through it, but it starts you back at the end of the hallway that you first started in. But things have changed a little bit. There was one that I particularly remember where there was a fridge hanging from the ceiling with blood dripping out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
There was one where you had to where letters were moving from wall to wall. That
Spelling out HE double hockey sticks.
Yeah. They went from hello to, well, no O.
What did you think of one of the main mechanic is just zooming in and looking, and the game won't let you proceed unless you just look at real horrifying things.
Yeah, you definitely felt the touches of Guillermo del Toro in this, with some of those horror aspects of the sheer penetration that you needed to get with the gaze, and just staring at the photographs and the story that starts to unfold as you're staring and listening at these things.
Yeah. It was definitely it was one of the last bastions of like, okay, everyone is just like at the exact same time, because it was released during E3, so it was like an announcement, oh, by the way, you play it right now, and people just rushing to go do it. And then at the same time, and this is it was PlayStation 4.
Yep.
But I mean, you remember the grade school days of, I hear if you hold this button on this cloud, Mario turns upside down, or he becomes a different character. You could be Bowser, and none of that was true, but it's like all of the hearsay of what things happened. And I want to say this was probably the last bits of that, where people are like, wait, if you talk into the microphone, it'll then, but you got to say the ghost name. Or, you have to, I hear if you go around 3 times and then do another thing, then the baby will laugh, and that'll be another trigger. It was just so, and even when we were playing this, Getty had a guide out, and he's going through the guide, and he goes, it says that this sometimes work, and if it doesn't, try something else.
Yeah.
Joel, What did you like experiencing this? Because you were fully aware of PT. Alec absolutely was not, and so you were cognizant of this whole thing. What did you think of this, the Alec's experience into this, and your experience now?
I felt bad for Alec. I didn't understand the depths of his discomfort when it came to scary stuff. So it quickly went from, oh, this is gonna be great, to, okay, this is still kind of funny, but like, you're clearly in pain. I am impressed with how well directed this whole experience is. It is a narrow, linear experience, but going back to your point, so many of the stuff triggers forward by you witnessing the terror and the horror up close, and they understand clearly what makes for a good horror movie level of tension and like how long you should be lingering on a space before you snap back or have that kind of quick flash reaction to scare you. And they execute very well. And it's a shame that this didn't come into a more fully fledged thing, because it's wholly unique to me still.
Yeah, and again, I especially like the fact that there's so like there's a bunch of different ways to key off and make the game progress on you, but it's different for everybody. So even looking at a guide is kind of like, well, this sometimes worked. Another person reported this, and you go to another guide, and it's got completely different instructions. So it really is like kind of a unique experience. I mean, also you got to think of Kojima. The auteur behind Metal Gear Solid was also involved in this, and he's somebody that he had been pitching for a long time a PlayStation game or PlayStation 2 game that if you died, the disc would just get destroyed.
Die in real life.
He just kind of wants these really out there ideas, and this idea here is like one of those really out there. Like, you got to yell into your PlayStation 4's microphone, and then you also got to do this. Oh, remember also this point you got to be quiet. Like, physically you have to be quiet because the microphone will pick out if you're making noise or something like that. Where it's just like it's ridiculous that he's trying to like pull in the all the features. A lot of cool stuff. So I'm really glad that we got to do PT, though. I'm very happy for the experience. While Getty figures out his internet, I will spend our first break apologizing to Alec. I am so sorry. I am so sorry, Alec.
Apology accepted. We're live?
Don't do it. I wasn't. No, I'm being serious. I think that my internet's going out. Hold on.
Oh, no.
Okay. I mean, it looks like Alex is fine.
I was going to say, you're still here as far as I can tell.
Let's keep going, and then hopefully it fixes itself.
Yeah, let's play it like that, because that's what just happened to me.
I blame
if I
Comcast.
go out, just keep going.
Yeah, you keep
Go
it
ahead
to
and give me a
yourself.
second.
Yep.
Yeah, you keep it to yourself. And we're back. We're back with even more Extra Life content. What do we need to keep to ourselves? I don't know. Maybe one of these days we'll release a secret behind-the-scenes look at Super GG Radio. Until then, you'll have to go and check out our Extra Life, the whole thing. Or you could just check out the highlight reel when Alex gets that up. Until
Also, you could possibly subscribe to our Patreon, where
we have one of those.
There could be a tier where you get to hang out with us on our breaks.
Wait, that's a thing that we're offering?
I will if we have Patreon people. Yes,
It's an ARG. You have to go and investigate and find it.
You have to find us.
It's a secret.
If it wasn't hard enough already.
All of our shows are secret shows.
All of it's one of my favorite lines.
Those are the best ones.
Oh
Man.
So, in lieu of a news segment this week, we're just going to continue to go on with some of the other things that we experienced during Extra Life. I don't know about you guys, but the amount of time and dedication that Alex put into setting up a soundboard with my voice, I didn't know that I needed this, but it was just kind of fun to drop a whatever he even had on there every couple of minutes.
Now with more sadness.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We need more clean reads, Getty.
Alex, I only give clean reads.
That's true. That's true.
You got to look out for these other guys.
From
What's
what
a
it sounds
clean
like, you just need to start writing more of the stuff into a script for him to read.
Yep, I could do that. I can do that. I was gonna clip. I only give clean reads. I think I might do that. That was a pretty good clean read. I was gonna say, Getty, do you want to talk about some like? Oh, first off, I just want to say I really like Extra Life is always very fun to me because it's like, oh man, I'm gonna turn Getty's house into like a studio. I gotta get sound correctly, which I did not get sound correctly. I gotta tell you, that second mic really just was double audio the entire time.
Oh,
No one said anything, and it was fine. It really wasn't that bad. The webcams, I got to figure out the SLR situation, but I think the webcam situation was good. I do have ideas though.
Okay.
Next year,
Ooh.
I want a hot seat. I want one chair green screened for the person playing, because I will tell you that it would have been much funnier to have Getty on the hot seat for playing My Friendly Neighbor and Alec for PT.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Fair.
Just a hot seat cam, so we could have, like, again, specific games for different people.
Yeah.
That's a discussion to be had.
Before I jump into My Friendly Neighborhood, does anybody else have any other moments that they want to toss out there for consideration?
Of what?
Just Extra Life in general, like cool things that happened, things you're ashamed of, like eating too much, or this is about us a little bit.
Nope.
This is mostly about all of the hard work and everything that we did and the money that we raised, but we had fun.
Yeah, the Alec wasn't able to join us, but we all went out to dinner beforehand. Went to an Indian restaurant after the first one we went to was a postage stamp with no space, right?
Yep.
Hey, I didn't realize that place was going to be so popular.
You have like 27 Indian restaurants in your neighborhood. It's crazy.
So, Joel, what are you getting at? Do you want to talk about the bet? Is that what you're hinting at?
Oh,
What bet, Daddy?
I don't know.
Guys.
Oh, no, we're not going to talk about the bet. No, don't be gross.
Let's just say that we all put a bet on the table, and somebody had to end up donating to Alec. And if you know, you know.
Alec got his money.
I did.
Yeah, he did. By surprise.
What I was going to say is that I think that me cracking a White Claw at midnight and then also cracking a White Claw at 7 in the morning was pretty solid.
Yeah. The amount of White Claws that were opened and drank during the course of the event was kind of out of control.
It wasn't that many. But your
I know it
sister was
wasn't.
definitely over at like making breakfast and drinking a White Claw with me.
Did she?
I just looked over and she went crack.
Oh, yeah. Because that's when she brought coffee for everybody.
Yep.
Yeah. Extra Life is magical like that. It's an opportunity for everybody to see how much caffeine they can imbibe before having a mild panic attack.
That was
All
before
right.
we got to the Damer Cups, too.
Yeah.
Which I remember after the gamer ramen, I then had a cup of coffee and chased it with like a Red Bull, and I was like, I gotta stop. This is too much. I'm starting to shake. I need to cut it out.
I can't believe that you guys were still hungry enough to eat the ramen cups.
It was those are really good. I have one still, and I'm excited to eat it.
Yeah, I was actually taken by surprise. Like you go to a Target or something and you see the stuff. It's garbage food.
But that, I guess, was good.
It was
High quality. Yeah.
All right. There you go. So, My Friendly Neighborhood. I didn't know that I was going to play this whole game. In the back of my mind, I think Alex knew that I was, because he sat down and he's like, "Come on, man, it's only 5 hours." And I was like, "It's only 5 hours." So
But
My Friendly,
come on, that game is a Getty game.
I guess it is. I mean, there's no guessing about it. This is definitely a game that I would have played at some point, but got to play it for Extra Life. So I'm very happy about that. But what My Friendly Neighborhood is, you take the role of a repairman who's been sent out to the studio because there's something wrong with the satellite dish. Or the antenna. It's not supposed to be transmitting anything, but it's mucking up the signals. So your awful day starts out by, you go into the main building and you can't get up to the roof to deactivate it. So what do? Well, you start to go through one of the studios, and what you quickly find out is that the puppets the Muppets
Yep.
are alive and they're moving around. And it is very Resident Evil in the regard that they will chase you. If you do not tie them up with duct tape after you knock one of them down, then they will get back up and they will occupy that space. And as you go through the map, they change, like the areas change a bit, and different Muppets, puppets, whatever we want to call them, are now in that area.
Legally distinct enough puppets.
Yeah. Not Muppets. But
Exactly.
they... Oh, do you guys know the psychos from any of the Borderlands games and just the stupid things that they say? Like, if you play them long enough, you'll find a psycho that's like running at you with an axe, but he's quoting Shakespeare.
Yep.
It's that kind of thing. So each of the puppets will be like, they won't automatically engage you if they don't see you. So they'll be like staring at a door, and it'll be like, what was he saying? Like, and then I switched my right hand, and then we switched our right arm, and then it'll just be like, but it's in the voice.
Yeah.
Or it's like in the Muppet voice.
Friends upset each other sometimes. My friend upset me one time, and then I beat him. I hit him, and I hit him. I was like, oh god.
And the terrifying thing is that when they catch you, they don't really attack you, but they push you to the ground, and it's just like, you can't do anything about it. There were a couple of times when I was like, oh, I should be a safe enough range. Nope, I was not.
They run at you fast.
Surprisingly, I think only, was it 2 deaths on the whole run?
Yeah, I think so.
I want to say something too.
Yeah, and you guys really criticized me about the 2 deaths because I was like, oh, I'll be fine. And
also you lost. Like for me, that's where I stopped playing for a bit because I'm just like, I lost like 30 minutes of progress. And
it
you're
wasn't
like,
30
no, man,
minutes. It's like,
I memorized that entire puzzle.
Yeah, this is like 5 minutes.
It was somewhere in between, but my initial thought when that happened was, that'd be the point where I would put the controller down and walk away.
Yep.
Right? That's what I'm saying.
Because
and Getty's like, nah, I memorized the puzzle answer.
Yeah, but it's right. Like that when we played Resident Evil, that's what you eventually learn is, you lost 20 or 30 minutes, but now that you know how to do it, that same trek is 5 minutes, right?
That 30 minutes of futzing around is now, all right, this goes here. Right. I get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but as the story progresses, I really appreciate the character design in the different puppet bosses that you see in the first area. So in the demo that we played earlier in the year, the first area is the second in the actual game. So you're in the sewers. But in the game, you're in a studio, and there's this giant Big Bird-esque puppet walking around, and it's just very precarious. It's lanky, and then you'll see its like face, and at one point we were in a room up above, and it couldn't interact with us, but it's still like the game design was that good where like the thing would stick its face right by you, and it's like, don't move. So this game was a lot
Jurassic
of fun.
Park. You're staring at the dinosaur's eye. And you're just like, oh god, I hope it doesn't see me.
And there are some spooky parts. There's some stuff that like I really don't like when they added the little guys, like the little baby puppets.
Yeah.
Because they would just like pop out and they'd be like, and they do even more nonsensical than the other ones. But
yeah,
I'm glad that I finally got to play My Friendly Neighborhood. There is a choice that you have to make at the end of the game, and maybe that means I have to go play it again. So,
and I definitely have already an edited cut that it's going on our YouTube channel of a full playthrough.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah, and that'll be fun. I like the style of the game, including like the your gun is like a typewriter that shoots like letters at you.
Mm-hmm.
I thought that was a neat touch. I think that like they do a lot to distinct themselves with their environments and enemies, but at the same time throw in a couple of key like, oh, this is just Resident Evil, like the moment where you walk into a room and there's a zombie in Resident Evil. There's a zombie in a tub, but you have to drain the tub to get the key, and you know that thing's gonna jump scare you. And they do that exact thing with the puppet. The puppet's like in the bathroom, quote unquote dead, but you know as soon as you drain it, he's gonna jump scare you.
You know what the worst part about that was? Is that after you drain it, he does jump scare you, and then you can leave. But then I was like, oh, I didn't find everything that was in that room. So you know what I did? Walked right back in, and he was out of the tub, and he pushed me down.
Yep.
Unfair, sir. Unfair. All right, so keep an eye out for that. Check it out. We had a lot of fun with it. Thank you, Alex, for making me play it.
Yeah, you really front-loaded some of the pain of this day.
It's like, all
afterwards, you're like, I'm done for a while. I'm tired. I was like,
it's like I went straight. At one point, I started to nod off like mid. Oh yeah, it was towards the end. One of the puzzles, I was like trying to do it, and you guys saw that I messed it up, and then I was like, oh man, I'm so tired. I definitely
we had to
messed that up.
select paintings in a room.
Yeah. Oh, I felt
yeah,
bad
that's
about
why
that.
me and Joel started I started writing them down. I was like, okay, I got you, Getty. I got you. Let me know where you need to go. I'll find it for you.
Early in the morning, trying to make it through a puzzle that, man, I was tired. Okay, so let's move on to let's talk about some of the multiplayer action that we had. Obviously, a game that we love on this show, Vampire Survivors. We finally got to try out 4-man Vampire Survivors. And let me tell you, if you thought watching Alex play Destiny 2 was filled with deaths, that's what Vampire Survivors was for us.
Mm-hmm. Guys, I'm down again.
Guardian down. Vampire Hunter down. Joel, you're a resident expert of Vampire Survivors.
Yeah.
Tell us about what you thought.
So what I've learned playing multiplayer is patience.
Mm-hmm.
I've played too much of this game to where like I can, at least in single player, I can feel like the ebbs and flows of, okay, this is the easy part, where I just collect, okay, these guys are all just tough guys, I'm better just moving off along my own, and these pieces, these weapons and accessories work this way together really well. And then I get to you guys and I have to hold my tongue a little bit.
Because I'm just like picking whatever.
Yeah, and it's not even it's a me thing, right? it's a me thing. But I feel that way with lots of multiplayer games. I had to sort of learn patience. But what I love about Vampire Survivors multiplayer is that it doesn't fundamentally change the game. You have the number of weapons and accessories that gets scaled back to 2 or 3, I think, depending on how many people you're playing with. It still has that kind of, you mix and match the right accessories to a weapon to get it to level up. And it adds a bit of extra coordination, because the levels, it feels like the difficulty gets adjusted based off of who's playing, like the number of people playing. And the way we were set up, if we weren't hovering around each other and getting each other's back, you veer off one way too far off the reservation, you're done, and then you have to hope the other 2 people can sort of slowly chip their way into the crowd to get to you and get you to revive, which is, in this game, you had to wait until enough things get killed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Am I remembering that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
But it turns into a party game too, because all the chests are randomized as to who gets it that turn. You
can pass it to the next player.
You can pass an item to the next player if it's something they want. You can have a power-up where it lets you power up everybody's weapon for a round. So there's a lot of ways you could play it. You could be a lot really cooperative and helpful. You could almost probably turn it into a trolling thing if you wanted to. Get real mean about it. But just like the rest of the game, the versatility of Vampire Survivors multiplayer is something where if you like this game, you could play it over and over again without thinking about it.
Yeah.
I remember that like I was just messing around and it was getting a little crazy, and then of course I kept dying, and that was kind of the end of that. And then it was like, oh, I'm kind of done with this. And then like Joel and Kelly played for like another 40 minutes, and it was just like, oh, like with me and them, it was like crazy chaotic. With them, they were just totally in sync and making a whole giant wall of death. I think it was Joel, Kelly, and Alec, and they all just had like a wall of death where I'm like, I can't see what's happening on the screen, and you guys are like, that's how you know when it's good.
It's not wrong.
It's supposed to hurt your eyes. Oh no.
Yeah.
I'm in there, it's all chaos. When you guys are in there, you guys are a finely tuned machine.
But Alex kept trying to make me feel bad about it, too. He'd, like, run into the wall and then die, and he's like, Gaddy, where were you? You're supposed to have my back.
Yeah. He definitely did
That's
that.
okay. He got his revenge later in some of the other games that we played.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. What other games did we play, Gaddy?
Oh, we played so many games. Hold on, I'm not supposed to be voting for the Video Game Awards, but I'm finally doing it right now. All right.
I should do that too.
Yeah, we should all take an opportunity in the middle of the podcast. Come on, it's bad enough you called me out on
I
it.
need to create an
Your
account.
vote matters, guys.
So,
Get out there and vote.
one of the things I briefly want to talk about, but I don't want to go too much into detail, was you guys got to play a little bit of How to Escape, which is a game that requires one person to be on the computer and one person to be on their phone. Are you supposed to... So the way that they were playing it is it was Kelly and it was Alex. Were you supposed to be able to see her screen? No, right?
No.
So you should technically be like back to back playing this, right?
Yes, and it's a game that you have to be like pretty synchronized as to what the game is. And the first initial like tutorial is pretty rough in that like you have to have like just really like have to try everything and just like tell me what you see, tell me what this is, tell me what that is. I see this thing, and it's like really hard, especially if you're like don't know what to expect, except for I just like tell, hey Kelly, download this on your phone, and then we're gonna try something. And so I really didn't give any setup for it.
Yeah.
But I think by the end we had kind of figured out a groove with it. But I definitely think that How to Escape is like as far as escape rooms go, it is advanced. It is like very advanced.
Yeah, it sure seemed like it. But again, to your credit, by the time we started to get to the end of it, you guys were much more in sync, and you were identifying things more easily and being like, okay, yes, I see this, I know what that is, do this with it. All right. But, man, let me tell you, I do want to come back and talk about the Looker, but we did so many other multiplayer games. Let's start with just some of the...
Let's make our third segment be video game homework.
Okay, so that'll be
Four
these three bad boys. So let's talk about some of our multiplayer madness. Guys, Runbow. Did you know that you needed Runbow in your life? And then how satisfying was it to just wreck everyone else's day?
You know, choosing violence in that game
Doesn't
pay off, but you still end up doing it.
You can't help it when someone's like running in front of you and you're like, well, I should just punch him in the back of the head.
Yeah, or you get knocked back by somebody and you go for revenge. Like, you chase them down, and it doesn't matter if you lose as long as they lose too. Andre did join chat and made a good point that not accessible to the colorblind, probably. But
Oh, yeah.
But boy, what a manic, vibrant game with a lot of high energy and a good slew of guest characters. Like, it's sort of like a indie game who's who.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And as Runbow, it's a runner where all the players are running in a direction doing hard platforming, but everything is colored and the background will shift colors. So if a platform is blue and you're on a blue platform, if the background changes into blue, then that platform kind of disappears into the background, so it's no longer a thing you can stand on. And that's the crux of the game, is that you're just constantly running as the color of the world keeps changing and the platforms that you can access are changing. And again, you can beat the crap out of each other. There are power-ups where one punch will send someone flying off the screen or changing places. It's a real like wonky, chaotic energy that I really liked.
Guys, the teleport.
Oh, the teleport.
Guys, the teleport. And you never know who you're going to teleport with. So I love the random power-up so much because you're like, hey, am I going to gamble? Let's do it. But when you got the switcheroo, there were a couple of times where it was like, all right, well, I hope this works out. And you'd see the other person like start to like jump and fall off the screen. And then you get the switcheroo and you're like, no. And then you're the person that falls off the screen and the other person's like, haha, thanks a lot. So this game has a lot of class.
When I didn't get what I want, which direction on that, I always tried to figure out which way I could lean while it slowed down to try to screw them over as much as possible. The rant.
I definitely was like the person where I'm like, sweet, I got to switch. No, and I got switched with somebody falling into a pit.
Yeah, but it's a perfect kind of party game thing going on. It's easy to understand. You can roll through the rounds really quickly, so it's never like you have any downtime. Isn't overburdened with power-ups, but they're meaningful and can be used really interesting ways. So
there's probably only like 4 power-ups or something.
I think there was 4. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was the inverted, the power punch, the switcheroo, and
was there a speed up?
Yes,
Yeah,
there's
speed
speed up.
Yeah.
Was there also a slowdown?
I don't recall.
Yes, there was a slowdown.
Okay.
That's 5.
Yeah, there might have been more. None of this matters.
It's just a really fun game.
Yeah, go play Runbow for yourself.
Yeah, play Runbow. It's excellent.
So that was fun. Surprise Snake Game of the Year, Towerfall Ascension. Woo!
That game is better than I could have imagined. That Towerfall is a game that has existed around for quite a while, and it's got good pedigree, and it's for good
people put it up there with what is the game where you're just sword fighting? Needhog?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It came out around the time of Needhog, so around the 360, I want to say. So it's been a party game for a bit, but it is you are archers and you shoot arrows and you aim at each other, and you're just like in this plane of like a bunch of different like platforms. But it just like you only get 3 arrows, and then you could pick them back up, and then you throw in a whole bunch of other crazy power ups, and you could head stomp on each other, or like you can curve your shots. There's just a lot going on there.
Snakes.
Oh, you could also just shoot snakes. Yeah.
The power-ups in that one were kind of crazy too. So some of them were like you could pick up a power-up that gives you bomb arrows, and there was another one that created thorns, like a thorny patch. Of course, there was the snakes. I think there was like a heat-seeking one too, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
But this game was just kind of fun to see how everybody would react. I believe while we were playing, Alec was the one who said it, but he was like, it's nice how this game will introduce a handicap so that whoever's like winning by a lot, it doesn't penalize the other players and they're able to catch up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
So-
the handicap mechanic was really clutch for me because,
Because
You
it
get
would
a
be
shield.
like
You get a shield.
8 to... Everybody gets points based on how many kills they get. So it'd be like 8, 3, 4, and then like 1. So the people that are way out get the shield. In that case, it'd be everybody except for whoever had the 8 kills. But then as it gets closer, less shields. So,
But also the way that it counts kills instead of last man standing, it encourages you to be more aggressive, right? Because at the very least, you might not be the last person standing, maybe you did 2 kills before you get taken out. I also really liked how you get those items floating around, but starting out, you got 3 arrows that you shoot. And it is actually arrows that you will shoot. You'll lose off your inventory, but if they don't hit somebody, they'll hit a wall, and you'll actually have to go collect them in order to get your shots back. So it's this funny risk reward too about if you're trying to be a sharpshooter versus just going completely wild and shooting everywhere.
And there was like awards after each when everything was done, and it definitely was like I was the rapid fire, just like I don't know, fire everything. And it kept saying, like, oh, yeah, you really... Like, I think one of the awards was, like, always out of ammo.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was
bad at math.
Like, I'd run into one person, and I was like, fire everything! And then, like, another person would come up, and I'm like, I got nothing.
Yeah. You just... too many times. Face-to-face with Alex, and he's out of arrows, and he's like, ah!
I started winning when I said, okay, I'm just going to target Getty. And all of a sudden, I won like a full set.
And how did that go for you?
It went great. I was very happy with
it. Sorry about that. Yeah, just get rid of Getty. All right. Last crazy party game that I wanted to talk about. Guys, Party Animals.
Yeah.
Woo! Party Animals was the MVP. I think it's at points I just didn't like. We stopped playing Party Animals because we're like, we have other stuff to do, but at the same time, I kind of just want to play more Party Animals.
Right.
And we did.
Yeah, I think we had a second time where we're like, let's just play more Party Animals, guys.
Let's play some more Party Animals because it's that goofy, knockdown, drag out, physics-based, very similar to Gang Beasts, but the characters are just even more just fun to look at because they're animals. Mm-hmm. So you'd see the alligator chasing around an otter and just like headbutt him full strength. The otter goes limp, and then while you're trying to throw the otter off of the side of a flying plane, guess what? The otter didn't let go of you, and now you're both flying off the side.
I just was watching Getty because I died early on, and I just watched Getty like as an otter grab a crossbow and just start shooting Alec in the face. Like,
yes,
Alec is knocked out, and you're
Non-stop.
still just like, ka-choo, ka-choo, ka-choo.
The weapons in that game are just so silly.
I had nunchucks, and like, they work. That you look like Bruce Lee, and it's kind of cool in a real gang beast way. But if you do it long enough, you just hit yourself in the face. Yeah, so there was a lot of good things. I think that it's got a lot of different animals and a lot of things to unlock. They added the weapons add for really good mechanics, but then at the same time, there's also like once you die, you are slowly accruing points, just as a timer. And the more points you wait and get, you could start throwing like items at them, banana peels, pumpkins, and if you waited the longest, you could throw a bomb, so you could still be an active participant. Hitting them with a pumpkin will knock them unconscious. They slip on your banana peel, that'll do the same, and then a bomb will blow everybody away. So you do have like a little bit of like skin in the game still.
Just a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely pegged a couple people, and I was pretty happy about that. And also, like, I was throwing bombs, and you guys were actively avoiding it, but it's like, oh, I'm moving you guys around the map.
Yep.
yes.
Like, you guys are always on the right. I'm going to throw a bomb. Now you guys are on the left.
It's true.
So, I also like, this is going to be in the best of, but the tutorial, you play through this whole wonky tutorial. It's actually kind of long, where it's trying to teach you the mechanics of the game.
Oh,
And then
yeah,
it's
Joel
like,
got to play through that.
and then as soon as you get out, it's like the game's like, okay, good job, you did through this tutorial. And then you're just standing in a field, and a random like NPC comes out of the side and drop kicks you in the face.
Yep.
That's how the tutorial ends. Is this random NPC drop kicking you in the face?
One of the best moments of Extra Life.
That's good. It's on our best of.
All right. So we're going to take another quick break here, and then we're going to come back with one last segment. And then, call it an episode. We're back and we're still checking out the nominees for the Game Awards. Make sure you vote, I guess.
Get out and vote.
If you're not going to vote in any election next year, at least vote in the Game Awards this year.
Because how else is
Jeff Keighley going to have a job?
How else is Armored Core going to ever get Best Action Game?
Joel?
Yeah.
Armored Core?
Yeah.
Best Action Game?
Yeah.
Make it happen.
make it happen.
Category I believe it's in.
Yeah, that is true. All right, so this year at Extra Life, we decided to go a little rogue, and we created a separate segment where we kind of took games and dropped them on other people just to see how they would sink and or swim. And, you know, in some cases, just have fun. We're not going to talk about Ghost Runner because, well, just that's so frustrating.
For me, it was more about, like, the fact that, like, we do video game homework, 3-4 times a year, where one of us will assign the other's video games
That's 3 or 4 more times more than I want to.
But at the same time, there are some games, like the game I picked, that I didn't want because it's just a short, bite-sized experience.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's one of those things that, like, I wanted to make it so that we could all bring a small, bite-sized experience to each other.
All right.
And Alec brought a banger.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, so I chose Wizard of Legend. It fits my genre of roguelites and multiplayer. It was a nice co-op game where you get to customize your wizard and what spells you're using every run. Yeah.
There were spells. There were a lot of spells.
There were a lot of spells.
But it's very like it's very almost like Hades, like where you're like dodging and then you get like 2 different abilities that you can kind of customize, and you don't want to get hit because healing is very finite.
Mm-hmm. But having the option of 2 players and them being able to switch up which spells you have, I imagine works a little bit better than playing solo. You play through the stage, and you have to... the format was you had to complete 2 mini-boss battles before you faced a stage boss.
Yes.
And all the while you're collecting drops that you can use to upgrade and unlock new spells and or items that you might find during the runs. But like Alex said, getting healing, not very frequent. And you don't know what the elemental feature of your enemy, the boss enemy, is going to be until the level starts. So having the opportunity to pick 4 different spell types gives you a little bit more power than, you know, trying to guess and be like, oh man, I hope that the 2 that I picked aren't going to really screw me over to start.
I like the music. I like the pacing of it. I felt like I just kept moving.
No, the music was weird to me.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know if you remember, but it was like slow jazz music while I'm trying to stay awake. And also, there's 15 skeletons trying to swarm and explode on me at the same time.
I just like the fact that like the chaos got real crazy. If Hades was multiplayer, I would be hyped because this what it felt like. Dodging and dashing very fast. But it actually, I will say, I liked it in multiplayer better. But at the same time, I definitely was like, man, if I was playing single player, I would be so much better at this. Because it's just a lot on the screen, and I don't know where my character is sometimes.
Alex, I don't know that I agree with your assessment. You think you would play that better by yourself?
At least then I'm like, I know where my character is. I'm more in control when I'm like blasting somebody with a spell and then dodging out of it. But then I'm like, wait, where's my character? Because he's in the middle of somebody else's spell.
I mean, your go-to was to just walk in and start blasting.
That's what I do. I blast, I dodge, I blast, I dodge.
All right, I'm going to need a clean read of, so I walked in and I started blasting.
So I walked in, I started blasting him.
Yeah, it was okay. We'll get it. We'll get it in post.
Yeah. So I think this is an awesome game. Joel, what did you think of it?
I was impressed. I think you covered a lot of it in that how fluid everything was, and it's thanks not just because of the actual motion, but they animated it so well that helps it make it feel fast. The power-ups were impressive looking, but not so... It's not like Vampire Survivors where it's just like blowing up the screen with your move and distracting you. It's pretty straightforward stuff that still looks flashy and impressive without being obnoxious. Challenging, but encourages teamwork, which I liked a lot. Figuring out how to heal each other is important. When one of you dies and needs to get enough health to be revived again, you're needing to sort of encourage each other on a little bit. And it was a lot of fun, and I wasn't expecting it. It was a good choice.
Thank you, Alec, for bringing us this video game homework.
Yeah.
It was nice. Thank you. Joel, terrorize me with your choice. What did you bring to the table?
Terror of Hemosaurus is the game that I brought with this time. Courtesy of Nintendo World Report, who I still need to write a review for. But they don't listen to this, so it's fine. Hey, do you guys like Rampage?
Yeah.
I love Dwayne The Rock Johnson.
No, Alex.
No.
No. Yep. The moment has passed.
Terror of Hemosaurus is
I thought this game was
modern day Rampage. More basically, you've got your normal like jump up on a building, climb, punch things, eat people, make them building fall and move on to the next thing. But it is a little more expansive in that in Rampage it would be like you just have these blocks and you would have to hit enough of them and it would all just tumble down at the same time and not really have any waver. This one, you can actually just chip at a corner and see it just tumble over like a tree being chopped down. So there's a lot more satisfying like blow-ups and explosions and stuff, and you can actually in some of the more populated areas chain it together where you make a building collapse and it falls over on other stuff. We played multiplayer, which takes all of that and same amount of space, really, and just adds 3 more people. Well, it didn't really expand out much beyond... You expect it to, like, move back the camera to give you more play space, but no, they just threw you guys right on top of my normal play space. And it was chaos.
I like how you said my play space.
It was his. It was his space. Yeah. And everybody firing their abilities all at the same time, I'm just trying to do my thing and kick some humans, and then here comes Alex, like belching fire and drop kicking helicopters.
Yeah, it was
right in my face, and I'm like, hey man, let me just eat this car, and he's like, no, that's my car.
Rocket breath. Yeah. It's a good game. It was fun. I definitely like also that it was perfect Rampage down to the slowdown. Like the game could not handle our carnage and everything started freezing. And I was like, this is pretty good. This is pretty good when we messed up the game so bad that it freezes.
Even funnier is that if you were looking at the stream on the computer, as slow as it looked like on ours, it may as well just been a slideshow on Twitch.
Yeah. Yeah, we messed it up pretty bad. It was good. Yeah. Very accurate.
Surprisingly, this is not one of the games that broke Alex's computer.
Oh, yeah.
I'm working on figuring out what that is.
I think that's because we played this on Switch, though.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
So the last game that Alex had brought for everyone's enjoyment was The Looker.
Yeah.
And Joel was subjected firsthand to this. But let's have Alex talk about it because he is an expert.
Jonathan Blow, the developer of Braid and The Witness, is a very high-minded individual who uses game development to discuss philosophy, poetry, and other things in the world that feels like, hey man, this is just video games, maybe we should just chill out and have a good time. But no, it's all got a deeper meaning with him. And so he made The Witness, which is an island that you explore that is just filled with boards that are puzzles, that are just line puzzles. And with it, he has full director commentary that you unlock, these little audio clips that are just him surmising and just waxing poetic about video game development in the world around him and being one with nature via game development. I don't know. It's a lot. And so The Looker is a joke play on that, where it is you're on an island and you're doing just line puzzles, but the puzzles are increasingly more stupid, and then the director commentary is also increasingly more stupid. Like, the more you listen to it, at a certain point, like, you listen to one director commentary and he goes, sometimes I like a truck. Y'all like trucks? On Tuesday. And it goes into like a Home Depot ad, and it's like, what is going on with this? So it just does a lot of things that are really unexpected, to the point that the ending is just like a line puzzle that ends up being just obscene, and the character's like, this is the world, and this is life, and it's got meaning. And oh wait, no, this is just it's just like something gross. Okay. It's not really poetic at all. It's stupid. So like, even at the end, it just comes down to it's like trying to be like really high-minded, and then cuts into it being like, no, this is stupid. This is all stupid. And that's why I wanted you guys to play it. I know that you guys don't have The Witness, like you don't have that, like you don't have experience with that game, but I thought you would like the idea of a game trying to kind of be up its own butt and think that it's very fancy and not, and then every once in a while just being like, oh, by the way, here's a dick joke.
Yeah.
Joel, what did you think of playing this?
I liked the puzzle where you were using cannons to shoot at pirate ships out on an island. Like the solution was very clearly just like shoot out this middle one, but in the midst of looking around for the next spot, because you end up kind of pawing around at some point to see where the next puzzle is. I just went back to that and took down all the other ships. Like, it was just fun to mess around with that alone, and I think that's part of what's fun about this, is that each puzzle clearly has its own thing, but like you can walk around at your own leisure and find stuff and poke around and see what happens with it. It's not something I would have gone out of my way to play, but I am glad that we went and experienced it, because even without the context of The Witness, like you said, it once you know what it is, it's very funny.
And for all those interested in The Looker, free $9.99.
Worth a playthrough.
Yeah, it's pretty short. Just a bunch of different line puzzles that are, again, increasingly stupid.
Oh,
I love it. I found that on a whim, and I was like, it came out last year, and I remember like this being on my list of like, this is something I'm gonna play, because I've tried The Witness a bunch of times, and I'm just not. It's too smart for me.
oh,
I'm sorry. Like, the line puzzle, like at one point, like where there's like one line puzzle that's in a construction zone, and you can't see it, and what you're supposed to do is look in the puddle and see a reflection, and at the right angle you should get the answer to the puzzle. And I'm just like, I would never have thought of that. This is too smart for me. And that was the second layer of puzzles, and it goes up to like 6 different types. And I was like, oh, this is gonna be a long game for me if I keep trying this. I'm not good at this.
should we just play it together?
I'll play The Witness with you. I'll watch you play it.
Oh, see, that takes the fun out of it.
I mean, I'll be helping. I don't
play
ever
it together.
I never play a game passively with you, Getty. I'm always trying to like figure it out.
Yeah, I guess. But
You just figure things out faster than me.
you just hand me the controller like, oh man, look, those puppets are coming after you. Like, oh no, get them away. Okay, so I think we can wrap it there. We'll do a quick synopsis here. Alex, if you could do me a huge favor and get the final number of what we were able to achieve for our goal. Let me
right now.
give a little spiel here.
Ready.
Unless you got... Okay. So every year, of course, the ultimate goal is to raise money not only to support the children's hospitals in our local area, but also to raise awareness. Video games are something that are very special if you have people to play them with. And the experiences that you can have by playing a video game may be different. Some of them might be stupid, some of them might be fun, but part of it is being able to experience it with others. So we thank every year that we're able to do this, not only to those who pop in and are able to view, but those of you that are able to donate. For us, it's just 4 friends that get to hang out for 24 hours and just have fun. But for other people, it's going to make a difference. It's going to give back to those hospitals so that they can, make things a little bit easier for those who are less fortunate or who are going through something that is really impacting them in their lives. So thank you for everybody who is able to watch us, to donate. It's a great thing to behold. Alex, so hit me. How much did we make this year? How much were we able to get donated?
$5,305.
And we broke our fundraising goal of $5,000 as a team. So it's thanks to the hard work of everybody that's here that we were able to do that. So guys, hats off to you. Hats off to everybody who donated to our cause. I'm looking forward to doing it again. We still have the rest of this year if we can pump up that number, but I'm just proud of everybody and what they're able to accomplish.
I'm just super excited because each year has been like, okay, let's up the number. Let's see what we can do. Let's up the number, see what we can do. And it's like getting to $5,000 is just such something I never thought we would be able to do. Like I not that like I doubted us, but more like it was never something I was like, we could really raise some money here. And now it's like, wow, we really were able to raise some money here. I feel like that's not an easy number. You know what I mean? That's not something that like people just have. That's something that people really got together. We worked hard, and people were really like generous for us and caring about us, and were around us all the time, like watching and in the chats and stuff like that. So we had a lot of good like family and friends, and just it was a lot of love.
We're fortunate enough to have a community of family and friends that takes us semi-seriously when we do this stuff. It's more a hobby than anything else for what we do, but it is a hobby that takes work and time and effort. And we had a dumb 30-second video of Fast Track Daddy and Alex setting up the whole setup for Extra Life, and that was many hours of work setting up, testing things, getting new equipment to try to work on improving the actual output, which I think this year is probably one of the smoothest we've had so far when it comes to transitions and planning and working on the fly to keep things rolling and keeping things energetic. So good job to you guys especially, and thanks to everybody who helped out with treats or snacks or just words of encouragement. To anybody who donated, thank you very much. I don't take that for granted, and let's continue working on it and shooting higher.
Next year is 6,000.
Next year is even more.
Numbers go up.
They just keep going up
forever.
Do we have pie
getting
charts
older.
to tell us how much the numbers should go up?
I'll work on it.
No, and we also don't have pie charts to tell us if trains are popular. So, Joel, please also work on that.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you. I need to know if trains are in right now. So that is going to do it for this week's episode of Super GG Radio. Before we go, you can find us on Twitter at Super GG Radio and twitch.tv/Super GG Radio, where, it's getting towards the end of the year, but I promise next week will be a regular episode We had one last week, but a couple of us couldn't be here, so that's why our Extra Life recap is a little late. And then, we're probably going to have a Game of the Year thing going on here soon, so stay tuned for that. Wednesdays, Joel, you doing anything?
Find out. You probably know the answer,
Sounds great. You doing anything any other day of the week, or am I just jumping to Alex?
I've got Saturday, TBD if I do. Anything else would be impromptu and unlikely, so.
You should probably just play American Arcadia and then make everybody else enjoy it.
It's in my cart.
It's in my cart.
I've got it. Like it's happening. I thought of it for half a second, but then Wednesday happened, and I went, nope, not happening. So,
Alex, you know what else is in my cart?
What's that?
Back to the Future pack for Power Wash Simulator.
Is it out?
Yeah, I saw that. Yep.
It's out.
Oh, okay. Hold on. Now we're gonna put that in my cart.
All right. Alex, I know Tuesdays Alex is back to Skater XL.
Yeah, I am. I modded it out. I'm kitted out and ready to go.
All right. What about Mondays? You got anything on Mondays?
I'm going back to Monster Hunter. I'm gonna try again for Monster Hunter. The only thing is that, and I'm saying try because Mondays have gotten to be increasingly difficult just with like family schedule stuff. Things have been adjusted, so I may have to dig in with Joel and say, hey Joel, are you gonna be yeah, I was gonna ask if Joel, did you want to possibly swap
For what days?
I'll take your Wednesday,
Maybe. Let's talk.
Yeah.
All right. We'll do that off the air so that you don't have to be subjected to it. All right. If you'd like to reach us with questions or input, our email address is mail@superggradio.com, and provide us a review on iTunes or the podcast app of your choice. Thanks for listening, and good game, Alex.
GG, Getty.
Good game, Joel.
Good game.
Good game, Alec.
GG.
And this was the night that I jammed a whole ham in my pocket.